Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. It's time to talk about the perfect tenses and more precisely the first one, present perfect simple. This tense is quite interesting. It's widely used in English and that's why I really recommend you to watch this video and pay attention to every single detail. First of all, let me tell you that the present perfect simple is a tense that we use to give news, to talk about recent events, or these kind of past actions that present present consequences. In other words, el presente perfecto simple es un tiempo que utilizamos para hablar de acciones que ya han pasado, que han ocurrido en el pasado o que empezaron en el pasado, pero que presentan cierta conexión con el presente, una especie de consecuencia presente. Let me illustrate this a little bit better. The best way to introduce the present perfect simple is by contrasting it with past simple. As I've explained in a previous video, past simple is this tense that is used to talk about finished past actions. El pasado simple lo utilizamos para hablar de acciones ya terminadas. Como se muestra en la gráfica, hablamos de un pasado super pasado. She broke her arm when she was 3 years old implies that her arm is perfect now. And she's perfect now as well because this happened a lot of years ago. That's why, if you pay attention to the clues, si echáis un vistazo a las pistas, siempre son pistas de super pasado. Something that happened yesterday, last week, 3 weeks ago, in the past, or in 1998, for instance, or when she was 3 years old. On the other hand, present perfect simple is going to be this tense used for, as I was mentioning, finished past actions that present present consequences. Acciones que ya han ocurrido en el pasado, pero que muestran una conexión con el presente, como se puede ver en la gráfica y en el ejemplo. She has broken her arm this week implies that her arm is still broken. Implica que su brazo sigue roto y que incluso pues esta semana no ha terminado. That's why if you pay attention to the clues, today, recently, this week, we have present clues. Tenemos pistas de presente, que lo que hacen es que conectan mi acción pasada con el tiempo presente, junto con ever, never, already, just y yet, together with still and some others, for and since, for instance, that are going to be the most exclusive present perfect simple clues that I'm going to be explaining more precisely throughout this video. As I have explained in a previous video where I contrasted and explained in detail the contrast between present perfect simple and past simple, present perfect simple is a tense that we use to talk about finished past actions with these present consequences that I was mentioning. All of those examples, I've been to Brazil, but I haven't been to Argentina yet. I don't believe it. We've won 500 euros on the lottery. Or she has known him for 20 years now, are clear examples of present perfect simple. They all present a connection to with the present. First of all, in the first example that I loved Brazil so much that perhaps I'm going to go again. In the second one that I still have the 500 euros or at least one part of the money. And finally, in the last example that I'm still in contact with that person, okay? If you pay attention, there are like two different types of clues. On the one hand, that now is going to be a present time clue. Acordaos que el presente perfecto simple, como hemos visto en la diapositiva anterior, mostraba una conexión con el presente y por ello es muy común que lo encontremos con pistas de presente para mostrar esa conexión. Algunos ejemplos serían today, recently y this week, igual que hemos mostrado anteriormente. Sin embargo, es muy común que el presente perfecto simple aparezca con pistas más exclusivas, tales como yet, for, ever, never, already, still, just y todas esas que os aparecen ahí, que como decía antes, vamos a ver más en detalle a continuación. But before dealing with the clues in depth, let me refresh somehow the structure of the present perfect simple. As I've been mentioning in all my videos, just by paying attention to the name and surname of the verb, we can guess the structure. Since this is a present tense, the auxiliary is going to appear in its present form. have, or has. And since it's a perfect simple, the main verb is going to appear in its past participle form. Una vez más, el past participle aparece en la lista de verbos irregulares. Si todavía no lo recordáis, adjuntaré una lista en la descripción del vídeo para que podáis ir viéndolo. Pero mi recomendación es que vayáis aprendiéndolos de una vez, porque si no, en el examen lo vais a tener bastante crudo. Let me tell you that if you pay attention to the affirmative, negative, and interrogative, we follow the same structure once again. In the affirmative form, well, we are just maintaining have and has plus the past participle. In this case, learned can appear as regular, that means plus ed, or irregular. It's kind of like a weird verb, and if it's in the irregular form, it appears with a t instead of ed. In the negative form, as always, we negate the auxiliary, haven't or hasn't. And if we create a question, we front the auxiliary. Ponemos el auxiliar al principio. Después seguiría el sujeto y el verbo. Fijaos que en este caso el verbo en ningún momento omitimos el past participle, su forma de past participle. Se mantiene en la afirmativa, negativa e interrogativa. Great, so since this video was about the clues of present perfect simple, let me tell you that these, together with a couple more that we'll see in the following slide, are the most common ones. But they have some peculiar uses, and that's why I'm going to be explaining them now. First of all, ever usually appears in questions, and it means like el yo nunca in English. Never have I ever, whatever. That's el yo nunca in English, how they say it. As you can see here in questions, it has that structure, and it appears always after the subject. Have you ever, and then eaten an insect? Because remember that we need the past participle form of the verb. It can also appear in some affirmatives. In fact, if you watch the video of present perfect simple contrasted with past simple, you'll see some examples there. Yet, on the other hand, is also going to appear in negatives, apart from questions or interrogatives. An example could be, wait a sec, I haven't finished yet. Imagine that I'm asking you if you finished doing the exercises, and you say something like, wait a sec, I haven't finished yet. Todavía o aún no he terminado. Okay, there you can notice that Spanish translation of the present perfect simple. And then already and just are used in the same place. I mean, they are always used in the middle of the auxiliary and the past participle form of the verb, but they have a slightly different meaning. On the one hand, okay, imagine that we are going to the cinema, okay, and someone says, hurry up, the film has already started, okay? That could be the example with already. But that same sentence can also be used with just, changing a little bit its meaning. Something like, you haven't missed anything, no worries. The film has just started. That's another example. So then what's the difference between using already and using just? Well, let me tell you that already in Spanish could be translated like, la película ya ha empezado. Okay, date prisa que la película ya ha empezado, como ese ya. So somehow it means like something that has started before expected. O sea, algo que empieza antes de lo esperado. En este caso, la película ya ha empezado. Antes de lo que yo esperaba. Con lo cual, date prisa porque te la pierdes, que ya ha empezado. On the other hand, just means at this precise moment. Justo ahora. Okay, so you haven't missed anything. The film has just started. ¿Ok? No te has perdido nada, la película justo acaba de empezar. Con lo cual, me imagino que la oración con already implica que la persona se ha ido a por palomitas y la película ha empezado sin contar que iba a empezar de alguna forma. Sin embargo, con el just implica que según abro la puerta, justo empieza la película y no me he perdido nada. So these are some of the most common clues of present perfect simple. But let me explain you a couple more. For and since, and not signs, since, are two more clues of present perfect simple. Well, not only present perfect simple, but also continuous, as you'll learn in future videos. But well, for is going to be used to talk about duration, a span, like a span, a time span somehow. On the other hand, since is going to be used for specific points in time. So if you pay attention to these two sentences, I can say the same thing in two different ways. I have been living in Spain for 6 years. He estado viviendo en España durante 6 años. En este caso la oración no está en presente perfecto simple, sino en presente perfecto continuo, que veremos en vídeos futuros, pero también sería posible decir I have lived in Spain for 6 years. Insisto, ese for sería durante 6 años. Y como podéis ver en la gráfica, implica que algo lo puedo marcar de alguna manera. Yo siempre lo explico de la misma forma y es que con el for yo puedo subrayar el tiempo. Okay, that's why I say for 10 years, for 6 months, for 5 weeks, or for 10 hours. Okay? On the other hand, if I use since, referring to a specific point in time, as if you were throwing a dart, como si tirases un dardo de alguna manera. No puedes marcar ese tiempo, sino que te refieres a un momento exacto. So we can talk about something like since 1990, you can say since August, since Monday, or since 8 o'clock. Es decir, un momento exacto, o incluso since I was born, because that also means one precise day and time. In this case, the example is I've been living in Spain since 2012. Puedo decir lo mismo de dos maneras, dependiendo en si me quiero, pues eso, fijar en una duración o en un momento exacto. Utilizaré for o utilizaré since. Now that we know everything, it's time to practice. And since this video is mainly about signal words, you don't have to create any verb terms, but just complete the first exercise with those words above, and the second exercise with for or since. Try to do it on your own, and then we check it together. Great, so time to practice and to take it together. So what about the first one? I've never cheated in an exam. Nunca he copiado en un examen. ¿Por qué va never y por qué no va otro? Bueno, lo primero que tenemos que hacer en este tipo de ejercicios, en caso de que nos apareciesen en el examen, es fijarnos en el hueco que nos dan libre, ¿vale? Tenemos que saber muy bien dónde se coloca cada una de las palabras, ya que el inglés es un idioma muy fijo y eso obliga a que, bueno, pues tengamos que seguir un orden y sea tal cual. Con esto quiero decir que yet, por ejemplo, siempre se coloca al final de la oración y no me lo voy a encontrar en otro lugar. En este caso, never, al igual que already y just, se colocan entre medias del auxiliar y del verbo, ¿no? Del past participle en este caso. ¿Cómo sé que es never y no alguna de las otras dos? Pues prácticamente porque es la que pega y porque traduciendo es la que tiene más sentido. En el caso siguiente, the guests have just arrived, también podría decir already, dependiendo de si entiendo que justo acaban de llegar, ¿vale? Justo acaban de entrar por la puerta, they have just arrived, or they have already arrived. Y es como, ya han llegado, madre mía, y no me ha dado tiempo ni a poner la mesa. Okay, somehow, something like that. The next one is with ever. It's a question. So have you ever been to the United States? And what about the next one? Have you done your homework? No, I haven't done them yet. Always at the end. No, todavía no los he hecho. Don't forget to bring your book. Oh, I have already brought it. Ya lo he traído antes de lo que esperabas. Es decir, yo te estoy diciendo que no se te olvide y tú me dices, hey, que no pasa nada, que es que ya me lo he traído. ¿Ok? Is Adam going to buy a new car? No, he has already bought it. No, porque ya se lo ha comprado. No se va a comprar ninguno porque se lo ha comprado antes de lo que esperabas. And finally, I'm so tanned because I have just come from the beach. Porque justo acabo de volver de la playa. Por eso mantengo el moreno. De alguna manera, os podéis fijar que todas estas oraciones, a pesar de que podamos utilizar diferentes pistas, en este caso, todas aparecen con present perfect simple. E incluso si las traducimos en español, se traducirían como tal y tienen todo el sentido del mundo. Finally, let me finish with this for and since exercise. Quite easy. Remember, for durations and since for precise moment in time. So I haven't seen my brother for 3 days. Something that somehow remember I can underline, ¿vale? Algo que puedo subrayar en el tiempo, metafóricamente obviamente. He has stopped eating junk food since May, a precise moment in time. She hasn't met him since my party, because my party was in a precise date as well. They haven't gone to the cinema for a long time. This is somehow fixed, eso siempre va así, for a long time. We have talked on Skype 4 hours, also a period of time, and the girls haven't eaten anything since breakfast, okay? Because it's a precise moment in time, es un momento exacto, desde, pues si te tomas el desayuno a las 7, desde las 7. Es verdad que en este caso, tú también podrías decir, the girls haven't eaten anything for breakfast, pero en este caso no te refieres a una duración, sino a que no han comido nada para desayunar, nada de comida para desayunar en el desayuno, no desde el desayuno. Ambas serían correctas, pero solo la opción con since haría referencia al tiempo. So be careful with that. And this is the end of the video. After watching it, you must be able to describe the uses of the present perfect simple tense. There's another video where I also explain this, but in this way contrasting it with past simple. In case you still have doubts, I recommend you to go and watch that one, because you'll also be able to practice with only present perfect simple. Also, after watching this video, you must be able to create sentences in affirmative, negative, and interrogative. And above all, the most important thing we've learned within this video, or my mission, was to teach you the uses of the present perfect simple clues and signal words. So you must be able to use them appropriately, as we've been practicing in the previous exercise. In case you still have doubts, remember that I'm going to be available via email. It's always a pleasure to answer you. And in case you want to keep on practicing on your own, you can do it with these extra practice that I always leave in the description of the video. This said, have a lovely day, enjoy it quite a lot, and well, see you soon.